to the Clearview podcast, where we discuss mindset, business, education, and relationships. I'm your host, Sean Dreesen. On today's episode, our guest was honestly placed in my life at the right time when I was going through my transitional period of becoming a better person, burying the old me, and basically having conversations with him, helping him film his videos full of impactful messaging, and just being around him and hearing him on stage was very instrumental in my growth several years back now. This brother right here went from knocking dudes out off their feet to getting dudes back on their feet. He's a successful motivational speaker and business consultant. Folks, today we're talking to Dudley Thurmond, also known as Dr. Bounce Back. Welcome to the show, my guy.
Man, with that type of introduction, man, I need to take you on the road with me, bro.
Yeah.
That was real, though. What you said was absolutely the truth, though, man. I've never heard anyone put it into that context, from knocking dudes off their feet to helping dudes get on their feet, because you can knock people off their feet for sure.
Yeah. I definitely, when I came up with that, I said, oh, man, this is perfect, man. When stuff just comes to me, I got to write it down. And I feel like that was perfect. It just was a really, a good introduction for you. And I feel like it suited well.
Definitely was, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man. So appreciate you carving out some time to talk with me. When I was thinking about the vision of the show, I went back and forth on the name, on the theme, on the concept, and everything, man. But I had like a breakthrough a few weeks back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I figured, I already got the Clearview name. Let's really hone in on what the meaning of Clearview was when I first brought it out. I wasn't ready in my life to see that clear view, but that was the mission was to see that clear view, obviously through the camera lens, but through my eyes as a grown man and as just seeing the world with a clear view. And so I put that into on this podcast because it was going to be just for like creators and stuff like that. So I did one episode, but I definitely wanted to take it in that direction. And I guess a few weeks back or a couple days ago, you hit me on Instagram and I was like, oh man, this is perfect because I already had you on my list, right? Some of the conversations we had, and it inspired me about just the way we talk and what direction I'm going with this podcast. And so,
right.
Yeah, man, I think it really worked out perfectly, and it's a perfect time to start. So, here we are,
That's how it works.
And so let's hop into it, man. Let's get to the nitty gritty. I've known you for roughly 25 years.
Yeah.
Knowing your story, it's a pretty amazing and interesting background. But let the viewers know a little bit about your backstory. Start from the beginning. Where did you grow up at?
So I grew up in Denver. Colorado. I'm originally from Ohio, though. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. My mom moved me, my two brothers, my sister, to Denver, Colorado when I was about 6 or 7 years old. And that's where I was raised. I was raised between Aurora and Denver. In Denver, Colorado, that's where I grew up at, man.
Nice. You say you're from Ohio, though. What age you say? 7?
About 7 years old.
So a good enough time to kind of feel the neighborhoods and meet some friends and stuff like that. What was the transition, the differences from Ohio? What city was that?
It was Hamilton, like right outside Cincinnati. When you say meet some friends and stuff, you mean in Ohio?
Yeah, like.
That's home. That's home. That's home. Like that's where my roots is from. That's where life started from me. That's where a lot of my family is there. My history is there. So it wasn't just like we were living somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was born into the projects in Hamilton, Ohio. My mom brought me home from the hospital to the projects on what we call Front Street, super drug infested, criminal infested. Kids running up and down the street selling drugs, all that, 10, 11 years old, like on bikes, getting it in. So it's a different environment than even Denver. You know what I mean? It's a lot different. yeah, the environment is a lot different. But I was born into that. You know what I mean?
What kind of things were you doing as a kid living in
Um,
Hamilton?
Living in Hamilton, playing football. My mama got me involved in football. Me and my brother. I probably did a couple seasons before we got to Colorado. You know, riding bikes, catching lightning bugs, playing hide and go seek, doing things that kids did. You know what I mean? Going
Yeah.
to the food pantry. You know what I mean? Getting free donuts and stuff like that. We as project babies. You know, that's how we were living. You
And how
know,
many siblings you have?
three
So it's four of you guys with a single mom.
with a single mom. Yeah.
Nice, man. And what type of things were your mom doing? Just working, like the typical single mom type thing?
In Ohio,
Yeah.
so my mom was there and she wasn't. So us leaving Ohio was an act for my mom to clean her life up. You know what I'm saying? So my mom wasn't always there. My sister, my older sister, was like our mom. You know what I mean? She was always there. She was probably 13, trying to cook for us and and taking care of us and looking after us and stuff because my mom would be gone in the streets a lot. I mean, my grandpa used to come and take care of us. We would be with my grandpa a lot too. He made sure me and my older brother got the football practice
Hmm.
and stuff like that. But yeah, my mom was hit and miss. But when we got to Colorado, everything changed.
What type of
Everything
what type of
changed.
differences from growing up in Hamilton, that 7 years in Hamilton, Ohio? What's the difference of like the schools, the people, the neighborhoods? What type of difference did you see at that age?
Well, I mean, in Ohio, we were still getting paddled in school. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Like they were beating us with a wooden paddle at school, bro. You know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
was I was in kindergarten and I can remember a teacher, man, a teacher, a white woman. She came into our classroom and she said he rolled his eyes at me, and I didn't even know what rolling eyes were. I didn't have a reason to roll my eyes at her. I didn't have a problem with her or nothing. I always smiled a lot as a kid. I was real smile. I smiled a lot, and I was real shy and very passive as a young kid, and that was my personality. Like I was very shy. I didn't make a lot of eye contact. My voice was real soft. I didn't speak uh, real strong like that. And she came in, and I remember seeing her and just went back to doing what I was doing. And she said that I rolled my eyes at her, and so she made me come in. So she had the other teacher bring me in front of the whole class, and she paddled me in front of the whole class, bro, in front of everybody. Like had me crying and everything, and that's how it was in Ohio. That's how it was at school.
So
Yeah,
when you got to Denver, it was kind of more just like how it is now, where you get sent to detention and stuff for stuff like that, or you don't get
yeah,
whoopings. But I guess that would be considered old school because I remember our parents used to be like, "Hey, we used to get whooped at school." I remember that.
yeah. Well, it was still going on in Ohio when we got to Denver. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and that was
Uh-huh.
pretty. What was that? Late '80s, right?
Mid to late '80s, like '87.
Wow. Okay. So when you guys got to Denver, what was life like then? Like where were you at in Denver?
We was in Aurora, so when we first got to Denver, we moved with my aunt. And my aunt, it was like 10 people living in a one-bedroom apartment, but that was our first stop. My aunt picked us up from the Greyhound bus station, all that. And
Mhm.
then we got our first apartment over there off of Moline and Colfax. And
Okay,
then,
so let me interject real quick. If our viewers don't know, Moline and Colfax is a big time drug infested gangs, a little bit of prostitution out there. In Colfax, just that whole stretch down the whole town is pretty much the same. And so what he's talking about right now is really not a really great environment to move into a new city in.
but you know what? We thought it was a great environment based on where we
Obviously, right,
came from.
right,
But all that you said was
yeah,
going on. All that was happening right there on Moline and Colfax, bro, just like it does to this day.
yeah.
Uh, but I mean, we was walking to school and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we didn't know what we didn't know, you know.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, and so that's where we went, and then from there we stayed there just for. We was probably there maybe a year,
Yeah.
and then we transitioned over to like the Laredo and Colfax area,
Okay.
and that was cool. You
A
know
little
what
bit
I
more
mean?
laid back.
Yeah, it was better. Made some good memories over there, some good friends. And then we went to Montview and Sable area. And then after that, we went to Montbello. Yeah,
Okay.
we went to the Bellows after that.
Right. And that's the neighborhood I grew up in, so I'm really familiar with that. But even in Montbello, there's like a couple different sides inside
Mm-hmm.
that maze, inside that square. And
Right.
where what part of Montbello were you at?
I was over by Silverman Park. So
Okay, yeah.
I was on like the Peoria side.
Yeah. And so I was on the 46th and Chamber side where
Right.
at that time it was considered, the upper class, a little upper middle class. We
Right.
had green grasses and stuff, and
Right.
both. This is what people say to me. I didn't have both my parents, but and none of my friends did. But a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
kids did have both their parents, and they had structured households on that side of town,
Right.
on that side of
Right.
Montbello. So yeah, it was different. My mom would always tell me to not go past Crown, or don't go past the high school.
Yeah, back there, Crown and 55th and all that it was different back there. You
Oh,
understand?
I know, because we used to
Yeah,
play football. We used to play football at Maxwell Park,
yeah,
which is Falcon Park now, and that's right on the 55th. And we
right,
would see some things while we at practice. We would see like some of the kids that we was growing up with and doing some grown up shit, and we like, wow, this is crazy. And
right,
you can get that feel. I had a bunch of friends that lived on that side, and we used to go to their house after school maybe or something, or ride the bus. Different type
right,
of environment, very
right,
much. Yes.
right. Absolutely.
And so you guys settled in Montbello. I don't know if a lot of people know, but you played football growing up, right? Share a little
Mhm.
bit about that. When was that introduced to in your life? And please share on that and any other sports you were playing as a youth.
So football was introduced to me in Ohio. I started when I was 5 years old.
Nice.
I started playing on a competitive football team when I was 5. I was really too young to be playing, but I was still, my brother was 2 years older than me, so she always made me play up on his teams. And that actually enhanced my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
When we got to Colorado, same thing. I was playing football. I was playing on his age group teams. And so if I wanted to get a starting position or if I wanted to be successful and put in the work, I had to go extra hard, and I was extra small. I was smaller than everybody, and so uh, I didn't really flourish as a football player until I turned around 15 years old, and I was going to manual.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I finally was able to grow and develop to my body because I was always short and round. You know what I mean? But when I hit that puberty and that growth spurt, and I grew, everything changed. You know what I mean? That's when my skill sets went real high, and I was really able to compete.
And that's the first time I've kind of interacted with you. I didn't think we met each other yet.
Mhm.
But we interacted. You were playing baseball, and I was playing.
Yeah,
We
I
were
played
playing baseball,
baseball and football. Yep, yep,
and you were playing at Manual. I was at Montbello, and I remember you were playing catcher.
yep.
So every time we got up to bat, here's this dude behind the plate. You don't see a lot of black catchers anyway. We had a predominantly black team, so we saw
Right,
there was obviously our catcher was black, but we don't see that a lot, right?
right, right,
Even to this day, you don't see that a lot. You always see that. So this guy's
right.
back here, he talking smack. I'm telling you, like, who is this dude? But a lot of people from the neighbor, a lot of people on the team knew who you were. I didn't know you.
Right,
And so
right,
they were like, oh, that's just so and so. They, we don't care about him. And
right,
I think you just knew what buttons to push because you knew most of the players that were on the
right.
team. And so I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, wow, this dude right here, he bringing. You don't really, I guess you don't see as much smack talk as you do in basketball and football,
Right.
in baseball, but I'm sure there is though. not
Right.
anybody wrong,
Right.
but at that time, we weren't hearing that kind of stuff.
Right.
Not at
Right.
all.
Right. Yeah. So growing up, I played football. I started playing baseball when I was, I was probably 10, 11. I started playing baseball. And
Mhm.
then I also wrestled. I also wrestled through middle school and early on in high school. I wrestled too. Yeah, I wrestled all the way through middle school though.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so you played football, wrestled, a little bit of baseball. Um, why the transition from Emmanuel High School to Montbello High School?
Well, you really want to know?
Yeah, that's what we're here. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So I was at Manual, and then Manuel had got a new principal and an assistant principal,
Hmm.
and they was giving a lot of the black kids at the school problems. You know what I mean? And I think I might have gotten to a fight or gotten to an altercation or something. And Manuel was tripping. They wanted to. They're trying to kick me out or something crazy.
Was
One
it
incident,
expel you?
something like with a threat, like, oh well, he can go somewhere else though. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was gonna go to TJ. TJ wanted me to come. Coach Cross and them, they all wanted me to come. I had
Mhm.
been talking to them. They wanted me to come play linebacker for them. Yeah,
Yeah.
they wanted to come play linebacker. I was hollering at Coach
Solid,
Herman.
solid team back then as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so that's what was supposed to happen. And I remember the day that we were gonna go do my open enrollment paperwork. Me and my mom we was in Montbello. We woke up and Louis Wright had already been in my ear like the grass ain't always greener on the other side. You got to start in position here, this and that and that and that.
Hmm.
And so me and my mom went and got in the car and we talked, and she was just like, "I think you should just go to Montbello. You know, it's up the street, yada yada yada."
Yeah, yeah.
It ended up being Montbello.
So that's when I met you. We were playing on the same football team. Obviously, you were on the varsity. I was on the JV. My predominant sport growing up was in football. I played because it was a thing to do out there. I loved football. I loved everything about it. My skill set wasn't there. And
Right.
me at 41 years old now, I could share that. Like, oh no, I just wasn't, I wasn't there. But baseball was my thing, right? Baseball was my thing. And but I played football, and that's where I learned a lot. I I guess I grew up here from playing high school football.
Mm-hmm.
We was out there like the program. I remember the program, the movie, that
We
scene
was hitting
like
it edge,
where
training and everything.
Welcome to the Jungle, that scene where they're playing Welcome to the Jungle doing Oklahoma's. That's how I think it came out around the same time. That's how I felt in high school. I like elevated my everything. And it was because of guys like you that was just out there just
Hey, that's how I used to look on them Oklahoma drills. You remember I used to be out there screaming, hollering after the fool.
very intimidating as me because I was skinny. I was like one of the only white kids on the team. I was just like, but like after practice, we all hanging out. So we all had
Yeah,
camaraderie, man, that it was
yeah.
that
There
I
was
missed.
love.
I missed because
Yeah.
I didn't finish playing football out there. But I remember we had talked about some things too where you were supposed to go to college and some of the coaches wasn't, on your team wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing and just kind of, you know, uh as a lot of people we backslide because of opportunities or anything like that. We start looking for different options, right? We start Me personally, I stopped playing baseball. I started getting into the streets. I started drinking. I started hanging out with all the gangsters that was around town. I started rapping. I started doing all kind of stuff, right? That I was not normally doing when I was playing sports and stuff. So did you feel like when you stopped playing football, you got kind of detoured into something different? Or was that a part of just while you were playing football as well?
Mm, football was one of the only things that I feel like I was even truly passionate about, man.
Mm.
Um, Football was one of the only things that I feel like I've ever fully committed to. Uh, it was all I had. Like when my mom put me and my brother in football, that was all we had, man. Like,
Mm.
we didn't feel like we have conversations to this day. We just feel like we didn't have nothing else other than football, man. And when I stopped playing football, yeah, I was lost. Yeah, I was lost, man. But I just didn't understand that, there was other aspects to football that I would have to be successful with in order to get to where I was trying to get to with football. You know what I'm saying?
And
Um,
did you play outside of outside of high school? Did you move on to any college
I
or no?
did. I did make it to a couple colleges. I never got on the field. Um, when I was finna go chase the opportunity at Fort Lewis College, a few years out of high school. Uh, you remember I went to summer school, and that's when I got stabbed. That's when I got stabbed on the day that I finished summer school, and I was going to be leaving for camp in 3 days. So that kind of diminished that opportunity. I got myself right. I healed up and everything, and ended up going the following year. And I went through camp. I went through camp. I did go up there. I went through camp for 2 weeks, and then the first game was coming up in a few days, and uh, my credits came back because of the time in between. I was like a half a credit short from being eligible from playing
Mm.
to be able to play in that game, and I said, fuck it.
You know
And
what? I see a lot of athletes. They go into like junior college, JUCO. They go to community college, whatever, and you see these stories of going through these trials and tribulations, and that set them to bounce back basically and getting back into a 4-year university. I was watching a lot of on Netflix, Last Chance U. I don't know
mm-hmm.
if you've ever seen that, but it was a documentary about football teams in the JUCO.
Yeah, so I went to a junior college too before that. I had went to Garden City Junior College. Yeah, I went to
Okay,
Garden City Junior College, and I kind of messed up my opportunity there. And
yeah,
coach had some recommendations for another school that I could shoot at, but I didn't. I wasn't interested because I was trying to go to a Division I school. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
They got the basketball one on now, and some of the kids they want to go D1, but they don't want to become the person to get to D1.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The other aspects that it takes you have to be successful in other areas outside of the sport also. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? That had to
So,
do with your schooling, your character, everything.
so you said you got stabbed. Do you want to share a little bit briefly on that, or
What you want to know? Talk to me.
like what break down what happened? How did how did you end up getting stabbed?
I went to a party, and
Where was
and
this?
where was it?
Yeah.
It was they called it Club Bash.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to a party, and on my way to the parking lot, some cats walked by me, and one of them ran up behind me and stabbed me, and they ran. Yeah.
No, never had a suspect, never got in not any trouble or anything. So was it a random act or was it someone that?
Um, it might have been random. It might have been a little personal involved with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That definitely took you out of your football mindset, right?
That took me out of a lot of mindsets. That's when you go into survival mode. You feel me? Because you trying to survive. You trying to live.
So how long did you recover from that?
Um, it took a while. But my recovery, I feel like it was faster than than it should have been because I had to develop the mindset of bouncing back, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the first piece to overcoming anything is making a decision that you're going to overcome that challenge. I can
Okay.
remember I can remember the day I left the hospital. I had been in the hospital for like a week, and it was time for me to leave. Now I don't even know if I was in good enough shape to be leaving the hospital though, for real. Like I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even walk in the upright position. And when I did walk, it was me taking like my steps was like quarter-inch steps at a time with one foot, just a quarter inch. So to get from to walk 20 feet would probably take me 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would have to stop and sit down every few baby steps. So was I ready to leave? No, I wasn't really in a position to where I should have left the hospital, but it was time for me to leave. It was time for me to get on that journey of recovering. And I felt like I wasn't going to get where I needed to be as fast as I wanted to get there if I was to stay in that hospital. So the day that I left the hospital, it was a sunny day in August. I was in a wheelchair. The nurse was pushing me, to the elevator to take the elevator downstairs, me and my mom, to get to the bottom floor of that hospital. And she pushed me outside, and my brother was pulling up to the curb, to a little roundabout outside the hospital in the car. And that was a scary time for me. That was, I felt vulnerable, and I was having a pity party, you know what I mean? In my mind as I was being pushed out, like, damn, like, look at you. You be on your way to camp right now today. You know what I mean? You be finally chasing that dream. This time you did everything you were supposed to do. You went to summer school, you got the grades, you trained relentlessly all summer. I trained with Herman and Dale all summer, relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And now here you are in a wheelchair for being stabbed. Like, what are the odds of that? Why did that happen? Why would that happen? Like damn. But then that light switch went off, and it was like, you got to make a decision today. And that decision that you're going to have to make today is, are you going to feel sorry for yourself? Or are you going to say fuck it and do what you got to do to get back up on your feet?
Yeah.
I made that decision to do whatever I had to do to get up on my feet. And they got me in that car, and I got home, and it was rough. It was rough. I mean, all the medications, the blood thinners, the around the clock, it was rough. It was a lot of pain. They had me on morphine, Dilaudid, everything. And so when I got home, I said, I'm not taking no more pain medication. I ain't taking nothing, bro. I went into incredible Hulk mode in my mind. So I'm in excruciating pain. Something that went completely through my body, this close to my spine, went in my back, came out my stomach, and I'm on no pain medication. I wouldn't take none of it. I wouldn't take the Dilaudid pills, the morphine pills, the Percocet, nothing. I don't want nothing. I'm about to overcome this on strictly mind power. You feel me?
Definitely.
And then that next week, I started going back to the rec center again to start walking on a treadmill, and started walking on a treadmill. I walked on a treadmill for several days, maybe a week or so, until I could get myself upright into an upright position, to my core muscles strengthen up. Then that slow walk turned into a faster walk, and that faster walk turned into a run, and that run turned into me lifting weights again. And in a matter of months, I was already back. I was stronger than I had been. I had got up to pressing. I think I got up to bench pressing almost like 500. Yeah, after the stabbing. Yeah, so I actually recovered and got stronger than I was prior to.
Wow. That's a crazy story. So what year was this?
Probably 2000, around 2000.
Oh, so
2000,
a couple years out.
2001, somewhere 2000 maybe.
Yeah. A couple years
Yeah.
out of high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the turning point in your life where, I know that was an impactful moment, that, a pivotal moment, I should say, in your life. But what was the turning point in your life where you started to realize that you needed to get your shit straight?
That happened several years later because I kind of went into I kind of went into a downward spiral
Yeah.
effect from then. I mean, my life had a lot of highs and lows. You know, I was up, I was down, I was, but I kind of went when that next year when I tried to go back up to Fort Lewis and play, and I ended up being a half a credit short to be eligible. That's when I said, forget it. It's that street life is where I'm at. You know what I mean? So it was just hustle, party, live, you know, day to day. And I went that same direction, kind of living life visionless, even though I was chasing money and different things, but I didn't have
Yeah.
a true vision.
I used to always say that when I was living with no purpose, I was living with no tomorrow. Like there was no tomorrow. I didn't plan anything. And so, and my story doesn't go as deep as that, but I feel like we all share that when we grew up in an environment that we didn't really have the best role models or we didn't have the best guidance. And
Right.
we fall back on depression, we fall back on, but it wasn't called depression. It wasn't called all this stuff they have now. And there was no very much no help for mental health back then, especially being, in the neighborhood, all the guys, man, we don't want to hear none of that stuff, man. You ain't got no outlet to talk about that stuff. So you just kind of like fall back into what you know best.
Right. Right.
So what was that turning point though?
So I kept going in that same direction, man, until, I found myself in a courtroom in front of a judge about to read the verdict back from a trial that I had been in all week. She read the verdict back. The verdict came back guilty. I was looking at 17 years. And that was my turning point. But prior to the trial, I mean, coming up to the trial that several weeks prior to the trial, a month prior, I started thinking different, bro. I don't know what was happening. My thought process started changing, and I kind of started cleaning my life up day to day because I knew that this time it was going to be different. I beat a few trials, few cases in trial, so forth. But I just had a feeling in my heart something is going to be different about this one. You know what I mean? I'm going to experience something different with this situation that I've never experienced before. And so I kind of started cleaning my life up, shifting my mindset. And then, I went to trial and the verdict came back guilty. And I was out on a $50,000 bond, but I was immediately, taken back into custody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of when it got real, man. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. How I was going to function away from my kids because I love them so much. I didn't know what they were going to do, how they were going to function. My heart was broken. I was lost, man. I was lost. But when I tell you there's a God, there's a God.
Absolutely.
And God had his hand on me. And I was able to, in that moment, I was able to start backtracking my life and thinking about all my life experiences and all the things that I have been through, all the ups and downs, highs and lows, the positives, the negatives, the setbacks, the comebacks, the things that I did effortlessly. I was able to do some serious soul searching in that moment of that conviction. And it was almost like I could hear God on my purpose, talking to me saying, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? And I started listening and I started paying attention. And and my life took a ride that that I never expected to go on through being convicted of that with that case, man. My life took a ride that I never thought I would go on. Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't like a low ride; it was like a high ride. Man,
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened with the case? Obviously, you didn't do 17 years.
Nah, so um, I sat in the county for 2, 3 months waiting on sentencing, and then but I had shifted my way of thinking though. You know what I mean? Going through sentencing, I knew what I wanted to happen. I knew what the outcome I wanted, but I didn't. The outcome that I wanted wasn't even really possible. You know what I mean? It wasn't even realistic, bro. I wanted to get out,
Yeah.
but I mean, I was convicted. Um, of a crime that's mandatory jail time since. My cap is 17 years. So you know what they do to people when you lose in trial? What they do to you? Mhm. They give you the whole thing. They give you the whole damn
Book.
thing.
Or the
Yeah,
book
they
has
give you they give you the whole book. And
Mhm.
so I knew that was my possibilities. You know what I'm saying? So it was real. But, I was staying prayed up. I was really focused on what I wanted to happen. I was meditating a lot. I had created a vision of what I wanted my life to look like when I got out of there, what I want to do. Uh, yeah, I was helping the young men in the pods that was coming through create little plans for their life, get out. I remember I helped one of them create this little plan to be a barber. And if I'm mistaken, last time I ran across him in Denver, I think he had his own shop. He been cutting hair ever since way back then, bro. Yeah, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You need to go to barber school. Like, you know what I mean? We just had a few conversations, talked to him about what his passion was. He got out and he did it. And so I started doing that and then went to sentencing. And the DA, he recommended 10 years. The judge said, nah, we ain't going to even do that. She said, we're going to give him 7. And so she gave me 7 years, sent me to a facility. And so I was sent to the facility, and the facility I was sent to, they had a very unique program that I didn't know anything about it. But I was there for 3 weeks, and these guys started coming at me about being a part of this program called Choices. It's a program where they bring youth, they bring educators, and they bring parents into the facility. And these guys put on the 8-hour presentation for them, and they teach them how to life coach and public speak, everything. They have one-on-one sessions with them after the presentation. But out of 1,800 inmates at this facility, only 7 or 8 guys are a part of this program. And they were coming at me about being a part of the program. The guys were. Few of the guys, they didn't even know me, man. And I'm just like, why you want me to be a part of the program? They say you fit the perfect criteria. You just look like you should be in this program, man. But I like to say it was really God calling me. It was my purpose calling me, man. I had ran my whole life, and I was finally in a position to where I couldn't run no more. So I submitted, and I became a part of the program, and I started speaking. And in a matter of weeks, I became one of the program's top speakers. Judge brought me back to court in 120 days and suspended the whole sentence, suspended the whole parole, put me on 3 years ISP probation, and I hit the ground running. And I've been doing that work ever since. So I say that that's where the light really went off for
Nice.
me. That's when I was really able to see what I was working with. And
And what year was this when you came out, when you were released?
probably around 2010, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay, so dang, you were speaking. We were working together. It was like 2015, 2016, I believe, somewhere
Yeah,
around. So you
yeah.
were
I started then though. Yeah.
okay. Dang, man, that's cool. No wonder you were already polished since when I got with you. Oh yeah, is that where your name came from? The Dr. Bounce Back?
Nah, I didn't get that name till around when we started working because I had took a hiatus. I had took like few years off, 2, 3 years off of speaking, not even doing nothing with it, bro.
Yeah.
And then I went back to it, and then a mentor that had came into my life, he started calling me Dr. Bounce Back, and I've been rolling with that ever since.
Yeah, that definitely has a meaning behind it. Like bouncing back is basically, what you did.
I did it, bro. Yeah,
A
I
few
feel
a
like
few individuals can say they can do that, right? Hitting that rock bottom point where the judge just said 17. and then they gave you 7, you're still like, hey, 7's a lot,
Hell yeah, I felt like it was a lie. I still felt like my life was over. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine it, being away from my kids and stuff for 7 years.
I remember going my last jail stint. They told me I was going to be away for 8 months. I was like, oh, my life's over. 8 months.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
know
bro.
exactly. So I know just 10x that right there. I probably would have, I don't know what I would have did. No one knows what they'll do in that situation, right? But I definitely know I don't want to be in that situation because that is something hard to bounce back from, right? So when
Yeah.
you did get out of jail, what type of things were you doing? Like what were you were you falling back into old habits, or were you?
No, I've never fought. I've never fought. I've never went back to my
Mm,
old ways. I've never went back to my old ways, man. I was trying to speak as many times as I can, impact as many people as I can. I was coaching youth football.
mm.
I hear winning games and championships with the youth. I was being a hands-on father every day, leading by example.
Stacking them wins.
Going to church. Yeah, man. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, definitely. So that's kind of when I kind of started seeing you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Totally different person than I grew up with, because I know you was about that life, right? You, like you said
100%.
in the introduction, you was knocking dudes out to now you're picking men up, and I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. And I probably thought, at that time in my life, I probably thought like, oh, most people that go to jail, they come out with a different mindset because that's what they built in jail, but it doesn't align with what they do on the street. So I didn't know if I took you seriously or what. And a lot of people that I was around, we weren't talking about anything mindset, because I still was at this point in my life, I still was, just not there yet. Not coachable, not teachable. They didn't want to hear anything. I had a terrible mindset, but I just didn't know, right? I just wasn't ready. I guess when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? And that's huge, because I think by the time that me and you started working, I was ready and I was hungry for all this knowledge. And so that's why I said in the introduction, you came into my life at the right time, not just as you were one of my, I should say, clients, but we built this friendship that we still have to this day. And we
Yeah.
haven't talked in, I don't think we talked in a whole year, but we still
Right.
can just connect right when we get on board.
Yeah.
Boom. Right.
Without a doubt. I mean, you sat
Yeah.
behind the camera, bro, and I was giving it up to the camera. Then, like with them get over the humps, I was snapping, bro.
I
I
need to
was
go back
snapping
and
with
listen to him.
it's like I was, and you was behind the camera, so it's like I'm talking directly to you, so you was getting it firsthand, bro.
I
I
would,
didn't
I
even
would,
think about that.
it's like the whole thing of remember on White Man Can't Jump, he was like, you listen to it, but you ain't hearing it.
Right,
You listen to Jimmy, but you ain't hearing Jimmy. That's how it
right,
was. It was like I was listening to you. I was getting here and there, and but I was listening, but I wasn't hearing it. Now
right,
I want to go back to him and just listen and hear him, though, because I know there's gonna be some things in there that really resonate with me and stuff. And I just know. But at that time, man, I feel like you were doing something that was very abnormal, hopping in front of the camera and just talking, right? There wasn't a lot of people doing that stuff, right? Now
right.
it's like, hey, you have to be,
Now it is, yeah. In the
you
town,
have to be.
everybody doing
You
it.
told me many a times you need to get on. I'm gonna get you on stage, and I said, I don't know, man, because nah, I'm good. Now I'm ready to get
Bro,
on stage. I'm
you're
ready.
fluent, yeah,
That's
very
why we're doing
confident.
this podcast now, because I feel like my voice needs to be heard.
It
I
definitely
have
does.
some appreciation for all the growth that people go through, and now that I always look at it where I'm always looking at people above me or in front of me, and so I feel lack of. And now I adjusted and started looking at people behind me who I can help,
Right,
instead of always looking where I fit in at with the people that are already ahead of me. Right, the people ahead of me can help me just like I can help the people that I'm ahead of.
right.
That changed everything for me, where I was like getting into coaching, and you used to always tell me you need to be a coach, you need to do this. I'm like, nah, man, ain't no one gonna listen to me, man. It's just I don't know, right? But I think that the stuff that you was talking about back then, if I listen to it now, I definitely know it'll resonate, and I'm gonna have to go back, man. I'm gonna have to do my little.
Well, the thing about it is, bro. Sometimes seeds are being planted in us.
mm,
We don't even realize it. You dig what I'm
mm,
saying? You think
mm.
about it, man. That baby, that little baby is learning things from its parents without them even knowing it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How you think a kid, how you think a kid that is born in Augusta, Georgia, in the middle of the country somewhere. You know what I mean? How you think they by the time they start talking, their accent is so heavy like that because they're picking up on things without even knowing that they're picking up on them. You know what
Right.
I mean?
I've heard
That
something that said it's caught, not taught.
Yeah, yeah. So you were catching things in the messages maybe that were planting little seeds inside of you
Definitely.
that those seeds wouldn't harvest or flourish for years, for a few years. And so they say, it takes 5 years to really reap a good solid harvest. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And we might be on year 5 from those get over the hump. 7, 8, 9, 10. We
Wow.
around 5, 6 years. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And
Wow.
so some things may have been planted in you then that are just now surfacing, bro. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy,
Seriously,
man.
man.
That's crazy because
Seriously.
I feel like I got a little bit of Dr. Bounce back in me, like
I'm watching you
honestly.
talk, homie. I'm watching you talk on your thing, and I'm like, damn, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Sean
yeah.
almost
I
looked
think
like
I think
he delivering like yeah.
the
I
biggest thing
said,
is that fear of what people are gonna say about you. I was like, okay, people are gonna judge me. I'm not gonna do it. But then I ran across a lot of stuff that made sense, where people will talk stuff about you in a Lamborghini. They'll talk stuff about you in Honda Accord. They'll talk about how rich you are. They'll talk about how broke you are. And
they're gonna
so,
always have something to say.
right. And so I really honed in on that and really pushed that to the side and it was like, I'm taking this thing to the next level because this is what I teach my clients. I better lead by example, right? I'm on the front line and I'm doing all the uncomfortable stuff so I can show you how to get through it, how to do it, how to coach you, everything. And the stuff that I was doing back when me and you were doing stuff, that was just off of like organic. That was just stuff that was just out of my personality, probably helping you out. And I can't even remember how I felt when we were doing those and how ahead of the time they were. Because I even said, now I was even telling my wife, I said, man, all those performances that we filmed on stage for you, them is reels nowadays. Them is value content for days and days and days. We can bring those back and they're
Yeah,
repurpose them. Like it's
yeah,
crazy, man. And I,
you're
I
right.
I always think back to the stuff we did. Man, we were ahead of our time, but we didn't even know it.
We were.
Yeah.
I've been ahead of my time and didn't know and haven't trusted myself fully. But I've been ahead. I was way a lot of the stuff that people are doing right now are ideas that I had back then, but didn't even go follow through with them.
And that's one of your speeches I used to always remember. You used to tell the kids that you were talking to, and you were like, you're going to see one day on
Yeah.
TV, it's going to be your idea.
Yeah.
And so
Hey, that's my idea. You remember
yeah,
that?
you better act now.
Yeah.
Start today. Don't start next week because someone's going to grab your idea because all this stuff is recyclable. All this
It
stuff.
is.
It's never
It is.
someone's, is what they say, being, or what's that, authentic is not. There's no such thing as being authentic right now.
The wheels
No, no, no.
consistently being
Let me take
reinvented.
that. Let me take that back. There's nothing original anymore. Authentic,
Right.
yes, not original no more.
The wheel is reinvented is people just stay on the same wheel, man.
There's
Yeah.
a million ways to skin a cat.
Right.
So yeah, let's get into that stuff you were talking about. Like you were coaching, you were mentoring, you were building young men up. And I remember bringing my stepson to one of your events, and if we would have kept going with that, I believe he would have had a sharper mindset through his teenage life because sometimes the kids won't listen to their parents; they'll listen to somebody else.
Right.
right? And so, but I feel like even just that, I told him the other day, I said, I'm doing a podcast with Dudley. Remember Dudley? He was like, oh yeah, that's I know. Whatever you did, it's not what you said, it's how you made him feel that day. You were a helping hand, you were an expert in the field, you were someone that listened to him. I wasn't there. And no one's ever told me what happened in that thing, right? But I can already
Was that
speak
was
to
that
what's
that was
given.
the Shadow of a Man workshop for the young
Okay.
men? That
Yeah.
ain't that day, right? When I did the Shadow Living Through the Shadow of a Man workshop for the young men out in Green Valley Ranch for
Yep.
the
Yep.
boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I made all the parents go out, and I had just the boys
Yeah.
in there.
Yep.
Yep. And we had some real conversations.
Before your time. And I'm sure there's always been like mentorship with older men and all that to young kids, but having a system to put them
I
through,
would go double back and do it again. Yeah. And again and
yeah,
again and again. Yeah.
having a structured system where it's just not all this rah rah rah. Because we got that in sports, though.
Right.
We got that in sports, and that's why I pushed my stepson to do sports, but he just didn't want to follow through with that, and that's okay. But that's my main aspect was like learn from these older men. They're gonna teach you more than I could teach you because I'm gonna teach you just like a dad would teach you, right? And I myself was learning at the same time, so there's only a cap of what a cap that I could tell to teach you that someone else that teach you even more, right?
Right.
And I can only teach you what I know. So that being said, are you were coaching and how'd that go? How did everything go when you were doing the coaching with the young men?
Well, my focus was just speaking, but then I was coaching sports. You know what I
Okay, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I
You were
was
speaking.
going to I was going to launch a virtual mentorship program, but I never got around to that. The speaking was going cool. It was going cool. I wanted to get up out of Colorado and kind of venture out and into the world and land some new opportunities. And that's when I went to Dallas. And then I got to Dallas and I connected with some people in Dallas with my brother's keeper. Started working in the middle schools and high schools, facilitating. COVID came, kind of knocked things out of sequence, and that's what happened. Yeah,
Yeah, so
and
you
that,
kind of jumped ahead of what I had some questions on that as well. I'm a backpedal a little bit back. So we were filming what they call reels and value content back then, but get over the hump every Wednesday. I think you had like 10 episodes.
mm-hmm,
You had a CD out, or not I guess you did have a CD, an actual
mm-hmm.
CD, and it was on Spotify, it was streaming. You were
Yeah, mindset motivation music.
yeah, you were speaking that shit over beats. I remember
Yeah,
that. I loved it. And we actually did a video for it. I remember right in your
yeah.
garage, we did a video for it. What was that called? What was that called? What was the
Winner's quality.
Winner's Quality? So everybody listening right now, go to YouTube right now. Dr. Bounceback, Winner's Quality by Clearview Films. Check it out. That was
It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple
yeah.
Music. All that. Dudley Thurmond, Dr. Bounceback Thurmond. It's called Mindset Motivation Music, and that track that you recorded the video is called Winner's Quality. I still deliver that speech to this day.
That's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
that mindset talk right there.
I
It's fire.
remember I remember just the variety of your audience at that time. Just mind blowing. You would speak to high school. I went to one of the high schools, met you there, filmed you one day. Then we went to a middle school, filmed you, and these are two different neighborhoods,
Yeah.
right? Two different sides of the city. Then you went and did a corporate. You're in front of uh, teachers and faculty. And then I saw you. What really blew my mind was a bunch of kids that were getting into like agriculture or whatever. 4-H program is really heavy out in Colorado.
And I got a standing ovation that day, remember?
Oh my goodness, it was
It was like
that's
700,
that's what shifted my mind on how I viewed you that day. I was like, wow, this dude is impacting people like crazy, right? Like it's bigger than Dr. Bounceback. It's bigger than the CDs. it's bigger than the hump days or get over the humps. It was bigger than all that. With that impact, man, that could have changed. That changed a lot of people's perspective,
It's
especially because
bigger.
most of these people were all.
Bigger than me, bro. It's bigger than me.
And
It's
you
bigger
trans
than me, and that's why I haven't turned. That's why I can't turn my back on it.
right,
That's
and you gotta realize all these kids, man, were from farm towns in Colorado, and they were all white. They probably never even been on. They seen stuff on TV like that, but they've never seen that impact their life
right.
directly. That was huge, man. I
Right.
was glad to be a part of that because I remember that day forever, man. Right there at the Renaissance.
Yep, at the Renaissance Hotel. Yeah, that was a big event, man.
Yeah, that's big.
That was
So,
lights, camera, action, and I was blessed to have you in the building with me, bro.
man, I got to pull all that
Right.
stuff back up, man. I got them on these hard drives. I'm telling you.
That's a blessing. But this next go around, it's going to be a whole different ball game. It's going to be a whole different ball game.
So, like people that know my story, I just recently relocated from Denver out to Phoenix, Arizona, a suburb about an hour. Because Phoenix is big. Phoenix is like LA. God dang, it's big. It's like 3 or 4 Denvers. So we in the southeast valley of Phoenix. There's some struggles that I've been through, starting over my business, flying everywhere a lot, going back home a lot, because I still have them connections and relationships. How is it? First of all, what made you relocate to Dallas, and how has it been since you've been there?
Two things made me relocate to Dallas. Number one, my son was at Grambling State, and I want to be closer to him, which I know Dallas would be. I would be about 4 hours driving. Number two, I just want to I want to step into a different arena. I want to be around different people. I wanted to land new opportunities. Was I ever highly attracted to Dallas? No. I thought Dallas was ugly. I didn't like it. I didn't want to go live there, but my spirit was being led to Dallas. And so that's how I ended up here, and I've been here for 3 years. I've almost moved to Arizona probably 5 times since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
I've almost left probably 5 times. Every year, at least 3 times, I've made a decision to move to Arizona, to Phoenix, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Every year since I've been here, my first year here, and going to my second year, right at my second year, going into my second year, right when I hit like the first year, that almost to the day, I was like, I'm packing my stuff up and I'm leaving. I'm going to Phoenix, But I've stayed, and I'm still here. But that's the reasons why I came. And it's been interesting in Dallas, man. It's really what you make it. I tapped into some things, some programs I've worked with. I've struggled with some health things, some health issues and stuff down here. Since I've been here, not due to Dallas, but I think just life. You know what I mean? I've had some struggles that people don't even know about. That's actually slowed me down in pursuit of my career. But I still come back to what I do. You know what I mean? So for some reason, every time I'm hit with a major obstacle, God sees me to come back and return to the arena, to be able to get back up on my feet, bro. But I have had some horrific challenges since I've been in Dallas. Some horrific challenges, and not the everyday person would be able to deal with, and I don't even know if some of them I'm ready to even talk about them. Shell, I thought I was dying a couple times down here. Yeah, for real, bro. Like it's been real. It's been real, and it's just been me. So,
Still bouncing back. Still bouncing back.
Still going through things daily, brother. Yes. Yeah. So when people don't see me on social media and they don't see me doing this and that and that, and they're thinking to themselves, "Oh, he woo." Nah, he's barely hanging in there, but you don't know that. You feel me? You don't know that. So you never know what a person is going through. You know what I mean? You never know.
People don't know what I'm going through right now unless I share it. And I'm a really private person.
Likewise.
And this day and age, it's like, hey, show your whole life on Instagram. It didn't happen if it's on Instagram, and
Right.
it's really been rough on me just because we're at that age limit, or not limit. We're at that age where we had a whole full life, a lot of like 20 plus years off of social media, and so this is all a new transition for us, right? These kids,
Absolutely, bro.
the kids grew up, that's all they know is social media. And our parents really don't know nothing about that social media. There's some that know, but so we're in that middle part where we did half our life off and half our life on. So
Right.
it's a hard transition, especially if you have a business, because business nowadays, it's definitely mandatory to be on social media because that's our organic marketing, right?
And it's rough because social media is a distraction. It's a major
Distraction.
distraction.
Yeah,
But we need it at the same time. You know what I mean, for business purposes. So it's
yeah,
just a matter of finding that medium, that balance, bro, and just working, man. Yeah.
yeah. Definitely a gift and a curse at the same time, but that balance, like you said. You mentioned your son. He went to Grambling University. Um, he just graduated, correct?
He just graduated.
So how important was that to have him go to a HBC, attended, and graduate from it?
So there's a yin and a yang when it comes to that. I was suspect of HBCUs just because of how they do things. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real.
Yeah,
I was suspect of it. You know what I'm saying? But he was real passionate about it. So whatever my son is passionate about, whatever he want to do, if it's positive, I'm gonna hop in the car with him and I'm gonna ride with him. And so that's what we made a decision to do, and that's what he did. It was very challenging. He had a lot of challenging moments and challenging times going to Grambling that he might not have had if he wasn't at a HBCU. But he fought through it. He graduated. He did damn good. He carried almost a 4.0 GPA through his
nice.
whole college career, and yeah, and he did it. He got his degree.
And your other son, he's about what? He's in high school right now, right?
17. He's 17 years old. He was out here in Texas with me. He just went back to Colorado though. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And is he playing football?
Yeah, he's playing football. He's doing this. He's very athletic, very talented. He got Division I talent for sure. We just trying to wrap the whole package up. He's almost 6'4". He plays wide receiver. He's hard to cover. Yeah, he gonna catch it.
Six four.
He gonna catch it. He gonna run off on you too. Yeah,
6'4". That's just crazy. These kids is
yeah,
growing up, man. Like it's
right.
crazy to see it from a distance as well. Like, if you see someone every day, you really can't see the growth, right? But if you don't see someone for 4 or 5 years, man, especially these
Oh
kids, like
yeah, it's
a lot of these
different. Yeah,
a lot of these kids are a lot of the kids that are in our age group with the parents, they're all turning that point where they're graduating college. They're getting they're becoming grown men, right? And well, adults to grown men, so to speak. But they're going into adulthood, and it's crazy, man, because we always look at them as little kids, but man, because my stepson, he's gonna be 19 this year, and our daughter, she stepdaughter, she turns 21 next week.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so like it's like 4 adults living in this house, man.
Crazy. Just like yesterday, right? They were.
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely a journey, and I'm glad that your son he graduated and everything. And actually, it seems like he graduated a little bit early, right?
Actually, bro, he would have graduated last spring. Yeah, but he switched his major a couple times, so that's what stuck him in here to December. Yeah, he would have
Yeah,
graduated. He would
I
have
feel
already
you.
graduated.
It seemed like
Yeah,
he was in high school yesterday. It was
yeah,
crazy.
it does. It does.
So
It,
definitely, man. So what you doing now? What's on the horizon right now? What you working on right now?
so right now, man, I'm venturing into some new things, but I'm also going back into some. I ain't gonna say old things, but I'm 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 vetting myself back into the speaking industry. I'm getting back into the arena real heavy. Farther speaking, I'm linked to a couple. speaking groups, speaking organizations. And I'm on the market to book speaking engagements, all right? Whether it's with youth or corporate or whatever, sports, whatever. So I'm in the market for speaking opportunities. I'm also um, I'm also partner with an organization where we help individuals build their business credit. We help them build their business credit, and we basically help them get put in a position to where they can help that business really cash flow, expand, land some capital, uh, you know, uh, all of the above. That's a big piece for me right now, is helping those businesses really level up, bounce back, or whatever you want to call it. We call it rescuing businesses. Even if the business is doing good, we came in and we rescued another business if we get somebody, a small business, medium-sized business on our platform. So those are two things that I'm really delving into right now. I'm just vetting myself back out there, man. Getting involved with the community, getting involved with as many positive things as I can.
Yeah. I see you actually had a speaking engagement last weekend on, I think it was the 28th of January.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what were you speaking about there?
Yeah, that was last Saturday. So just to overview, you know what I mean? Just talking about how we need to focus on building our business credit if we have businesses, instead of trying to bootstrap our businesses, using our personal funding or our personal credit. You know what I mean? A lot of people are bootstrapping their businesses, using their own capital, trying to save money from their angel investor. Their angel investor is their 9 to 5, their personal job, or either using their personal credit, their personal social security number to use credit to leverage funding for their business. And then if their business get into a funky position, then their personal assets is at stake. You know what I mean? Then they can mess around and lose their house, their car, you know what I mean? All that stuff. And so what we are doing is we're helping individuals use that EIN to build that business credit, so their personal assets are never at stake. So those are the things that I was talking about last weekend. Along with mindset, grit, resilience. It's still that's still me. I wrote the book, The Recipe for Resilience. It's still available out there at the recipeforresilience.com. I'm actually giving away a free audio book, As a Man Thinketh, when people go buy it right now, and I dropped the price to $15. So if people were smart, they would go snatch that thing up. It's an interactive ebook right now. It's not a hard copy. It's an interactive ebook with some videos and exercises in it, so forth and so on.
And where can they go to get that?
TheRecipeForResilience.com.
Hey,
TheRecipeForResilience.com.
Y'all need to go get that, man. Sharpen your skills, your thinking skills. I'm reading As a Man Thinketh right now as we speak. Mm-hmm. And I usually would read a book, go all the way through it, but I would go too fast on it. I'm just trying to read the book.
Do you have the audio?
I don't have the audio yet, but I usually, what I'm doing now.
You're gonna have it by tomorrow, because I'm gonna email it to you for free.
Okay, awesome. What I've been doing, and it's good for me. It might not be good for everybody, but I've been listening to the Audible while I read the book, and speed it up a little bit. So this is a little life hack for you guys. Speed it up on the Audible just a little bit, so you're not staying there for days reading a book, and you can knock out a book in a week. If your goal this 2023 is to read more books, I would suggest you read it and have the Audible.
Where'd you learn that from?
Probably just over time, but I feel it was like one of those things that I just wanted to try out. And then I started listening to a lot of people, and they were saying it, so I probably heard it. And it was one of those things that I was just like, it came from laziness, I guess. I don't know. When I read my book, I kind of don't like to read sometimes, right? I get a little bit lazy, and that just keeps me on board, because I tend to drift off and think about different things. And then I got an Audible. I got an Audible account, And when I'm driving,
I do too.
sometimes
Right.
I get bored. I gotta tag them together, man, or I'll get bored.
Right.
And yeah, so I really didn't learn it from a specific person, but just over time, it probably got into
Powerful.
the subconscious, and I applied it. So yeah,
That's
definitely,
powerful.
yeah.
That's powerful.
All right, I see you got an I think an event coming up called Living in Color.
Yeah, yeah,
You want to speak
yeah,
a little bit about that?
yeah. So that event is in Dallas. Basically, it's a gala. It's a gala. I'm partnering with a nonprofit organization for this event. It's a gala um, where we're selling tickets for the event. It's actually sold out. Today it's sold out. And that's pretty dope. Tickets were like 120 bucks, and we sold out. And so I'm gonna be a conversationalist. So basically, I'm gonna sit at 5 tables for 15 minutes, and I'm gonna have a conversation at these tables.
Hmm.
A conversation on a topic that is going to drive the community forward in a positive way. And I will be at each table for 15 minutes that night, and then a few of the conversationalists will come up front. That's where we're gonna that's where we're gonna speak on our topic. So that's what that event is about.
Nice, awesome, awesome. I'm gonna get into some fun stuff right now outside of business. I like to twist it up a little bit. Just some inspiration from different podcasts that I listen to, and I'm absorbed. Who you are now is a little bit of everybody that you listen to or around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to get into some fun stuff. But first, I want to ask you, you're a pretty big dude, right? Pretty fit. I've always seen you like you've always been a big guy, right? Basically, kind of swole, a little jacked up. What steps and routine are you doing to get to the next level, mentally, physically, financially, and how do they all like correlate together?
Okay, so I wasn't working out for a minute. I took about a good month or so off, of being consistent. So right now I'm just taking it one step at a time. I had went through a big herbal cleanse right in December. Yeah, like between November and December. And then after that I kind of fell off and wasn't on my health kick. So right now I'm just taking it one step at a time, tightening up my diet. I don't eat meat, but I'm tightening up my diet, getting myself back in tune physically. Okay. And a big part of being locked in mentally has to do with what I do with my body. You know what I mean? Even though, yeah, mindset, it starts with your mind, but what you put into your body and how you treat your body has a lot to do with how you think and how the world responds to you, around. So I'm taking one step at a time, getting myself back fit, back into the fit lifestyle, cleaning my diet up, getting back on my herbs, so forth and so on. I try to meditate as often as I can for my mental. I try to meditate as often as I can. Um, I'm in a couple books right now reading, and I'm trying to stay very persistent and consistent with my actions in business and everyday work. I mean, we all get distracted. Sometimes we procrastinate unwillingly or unconsciously or, inevitably. But I'm trying to be very persistent and consistent with my actions and stay in the course, so I can hit the numbers and goals that I want to hit this year.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like I've been on a real binge at the gym right now, and it's from just listening to different people online. And I feel like a lot of our business tactics, a lot of our relationships in our life are all stemmed from our discipline that we learn in the gym.
I agree.
And I've never been really a guy that went every single day or have
Mhm.
that much more than I think the most I've ever been has been like 4 times a week. Just not really consistent though. I might go for like 4 straight weeks and then stop. And so I'm always starting over again, right? But this year, not even just this year, like I've been trying to get my mindset right where I'm disciplined to go do it. I go do it super early in the morning where I have to get out of my comfort zone by getting up. Then I pick the gym that's like 30 minutes away, just so it'll
Mhm.
be a little bit more of a hurdle to get over. because I need to get that resiliency. I need to get something that's going to be at adversity to get over, to build me up to this character that I'm trying to build, right?
Wow.
And I'm just a really firm believer that in the last 3 weeks, I've been almost every day. I missed like 2 days, and that was probably Sundays, right? Just letting my body heal, letting it rest, because I don't want to jump out in the water and jump off the porch and just completely like abuse my body, right? And
Right.
so I've already seen a change in the way I talk, the way I think, the way I don't want to do a lot of things, right? And so I really am honing in on that habitual activity to go to the gym every day.
Right. That's a good habit to have.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so this is what I was talking about. We're talking about do some. I'm gonna just ask you. I'm gonna have two things. If you ever watched the Drink Champs, it's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna read off two different names, and you just pick one, like one or two, one, right?
Okay.
All right, Denver Broncos or Denver Nuggets?
Well, I'm not a big basketball fan, so I'm gonna say Denver Broncos.
Dallas food or Denver food?
Dallas food.
Again, Dallas Cowboys or Dallas Mavericks?
Neither.
Neither. Weights or cardio?
That's hard. That's hard. That's hard, bro. You know what? I'm gonna say cardio because I like doing calisthenics too, and calisthenics can be a form of cardio and resistance training at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, cardio. I feel like cardio, you need more like dedication. Like it's
But
easy
I
to
like weights though. But I really like weights though. But right now I need some cardio.
yeah. Like I don't even think about cardio. I'm like, I feel like
I like weights though. I do. I like to lift. Yeah.
if I hit the weights and I eat better, I think I'll have a better outcome than cardio. But that's just me personally. I might change my mind in a few weeks. So
I love weights though. Yeah, I love weights, but I gotta get my cardio up.
right. All right. Facebook or Instagram?
I'm gonna say Instagram, but I think if I use Facebook the right way, it'll serve me way better than Instagram do.
I'm on the same page. Like I love Instagram.
Facebook is the old faithful still, man. I know Instagram is popping and new and flashy and this and that, but you can gain way more connects and clients and opportunity if you use Facebook effectively, man, with the groups and everything.
With the groups and everything, yeah, definitely. And I'm tapping into that right now. So it's like I get once you hit an algorithm, that stuff starts coming to you, all the sponsored ads, and I start listening to some people that know what they're talking about, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should get these little nuggets, get the little free nuggets on the webinars or little video sales letters, whatever. Okay, TikTok or YouTube?
YouTube.
All right. Healthy or wealthy?
Wealthy is healthy.
Awesome.
The right wealthy, like when I say wealthy is healthy, I don't mean, oh, I just got a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Wealthy people are healthy people.
Choices and options. That'll make me healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy mindset, healthy life, no stress. Like, yeah, definitely. Because you could be healthy and broke and just be healthy and broke.
Right. Wealthy.
Think and Grow Rich or Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I think Rich Dad Poor Dad is dope, but I'm gonna say Think and Grow Rich because that was one of my first go-tos when I got out, and it helped me manifest some amazing things.
Definitely. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich for the third time with just new eyes, man, new eyes, and taking my time with it too, not just trying to run through it
and do what it and go through the steps that it's telling you to go through.
Yeah.
Get the the gratitude rock, and every time you touch the gratitude rock or feel it in your pocket, you say something you thankful for. All that, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
write your little manifestation down on a note card, and yeah, do it all. Yeah.
All right. Grant Cardone or Gary V?
That's a good one. That's a good one because I've gotten some good stuff from Grant Cardone, but Grant Cardone, he want to sell everything. Gary Vee will give you a lot of just, just raw, just a genuine. He just that was hard, bro. That was hard.
All right. That's a good one. Eric Thomas or Dr. Bounceback?
Well, if people only knew, man, if people only knew that that Dr. Bounceback working with some of that Eric Thomas working with too, they'd be rocking Bounceback. So I'm gonna have to rock with Dr. Bounceback.
Right, right. And I actually had it. I had it two for two right there. I had Eric Thomas or Deion Sanders.
Eric Thomas or Deion Sanders. I might have to go with Deion. I like what
I like it too. Yeah. This is a bonus one. That was like the 10. I got to make a name for it. The 10 something, hot seat 10 or something. The bonus one is, man, since we're talking about Deion, two sports, Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson.
So growing up, I was a big Bo Jackson fan, man. So I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go with Bo. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I got you. So let's speak on, let's see what we got. We did this. We were talking about the tools and resources we have and current trends and stuff that we were talking about that we didn't have even 6 years ago. How has that affected the industry that you're in right now? And what are you excited about with these tools that we have now?
Well, I mean, I listen to a lot of speakers talk about how they didn't have social media and this and that and that, and everything was belly to belly, chest to chest, and they had to, get in people's faces and make phone calls and seeing brochures. And I almost think that social media is so saturated, and unless you're spending, big dollars running ads, that some of those tactics that they were using before was almost more impactful than some of the stuff on social media that you can do, because of the way these algorithms are set up and how you have to spend money to get your product in front of people. However, you do have to, they had to pay for their postcards or brochures or whatever, true enough, But would I say I'm so excited about the resources and tools right now? Yeah, I am kinda, you know what I mean? But you still gotta, it takes money to use these tools. I got a couple funnels out there. I could go a little bit deeper. I could bring somebody on my team that really understands the the funneling game, so forth and so on. But yeah, my focus is getting out and building relationships and networking. Not so much behind the computer in 2023. I need to get out and I need to shake hands. I need to see people. I need to talk to people. I need to get in front of people.
I don't know if you're familiar with Brad Lee. He's a sales trainer and he's on a lot of viral videos lately. And he said the more hands you shake, the more money you make.
Seriously.
Yeah. So
sure. And so that's what's been pushing me lately, man. Even with helping the businesses, getting out to events, networking, shaking hands. Then one door opens another door. You know what I mean? You shake one hand, that hand may open a door. You may go into that door, and then you may shake a couple hands in that room, and you know, and those couple hands in that room may open a door for another room. You know, so yeah.
To wrap it up a little bit, can you share some advice that you would tell people that are trying to start out motivational speaking, like you even said, the business credit, that stuff you're doing? What's the first step that they, some advice you want to give?
For business credit or speaking?
I would say let's start with speaking.
To start with speaking, well, I'm going to be launching a course here soon. And that course is going to be based around helping people overcome the fear of public speaking. And so if you are looking into wanting to become a more seasoned speaker or get out your shell, I wanted just to learn the basics of speaking, I would say reach out to Dr. Bounceback first. That would be the first thing I recommend you do. But on a serious note, I say start where you are. Okay. Start right there where you are. Don't think to yourself, oh, I got to get X, Y, and Z in place before I start, pursuing speaking, or inspiring people or impacting people or sharing my message or my voice with people or the world. I'm gonna wait till I get a website and this and that. Nah, start where you are, right there with what you got, and just start doing the work right now. That's what you do.
Awesome, man. So where can they find you on social media? Where can they find you? What you got going?
They can find me on any social media outlet, Instagram, Facebook. It's Dr. Bounceback. On Facebook, it's Dudley Thurmond. Dudley Thurmond, Dr. Bounceback. I'm on YouTube, Dr. Bounceback TV. I'm on TikTok, Dr. Bounceback TV. I'm on LinkedIn, it's Dudley Thurmond. If you just go to Google and put in Dudley Thurmond and Dr. Bounceback, you're going to find me. So I am not hard to find. Find me, tap in with me, grab a book, go to therecipeforresilience.com, tap in, grab a book, grab some content. And yeah, let's stay the course.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for taking the time out to share your story with us. Talk to me. This is the infancy stage of my podcast career. And so I'll always look back at this episode and say, hey, this was one of the first ones.
That's dope, man. It's dope, man. I think you own something. So keep building. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of I'm proud of where you have advanced to, man. I see your growth, bro. So just keep it up. Keep going in that direction.
Yeah, that means a lot. Definitely, because sometimes as subjectively looking at stuff, you don't feel like you're growing because you're still always reaching for something else, right? Always. Right. When I learned that, I said, okay, well, I gotta look back at what I went through, who the people I was hanging with, who not saying they were bad people. It was just that we were all misguided, right? There was no one that was showing us the ropes or showing us the way. And so I just started, reaching out, not physically reaching out, but expanding my mind, picking up a book, just developing skills that is going to help me get to the nether level. And even when I moved out to Arizona, people were like, oh man, you're 40 years old. Why are you moving to a different state when you're successful in one state that you live in? I just feel like I had hit my ceiling in that, environment. And there was a lot of baggage and there was just a lot of things that I didn't know that were outside of my comfort zone, right?
Age has nothing to do with growth anyway, though. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't. And I'm learning that, right? I'm learning that. I just saw different sides of the world when I started traveling, and I was like, wow, okay, I don't have to just stay in Colorado. I love Colorado. Colorado is home. Every time I go back, man, it's just vibrant. It's beautiful. It's colorful. Now I know why they call it Colorado. The mountains are tall. I'm like, wow, this is crazy, right?
After coming out here, it's beautiful in Colorado, man. Yeah. Not cute like that. It's not attractive,
and I definitely wasn't running from anything, but I was So people ask me like, why did you chase Phoenix? Like, why did you go to Phoenix? Like, Phoenix was where, like, there is a God. God told me to come to Phoenix. God let me know. He showed me signs, and this is where I was emotional when I came out here to look for a house. When that plane was landing right there at the Sky Harbor airport, I said, I arrived, man. I got chills. I'm getting chills right now. I arrived. Like whatever I built in Denver, I'm gonna build out here.
Yeah,
But what
that's what it was laid on my heart. Maybe you wasn't running from something. Maybe you was running to something. You dig what
yeah,
I'm saying?
and what got
Yeah.
me to that, what got me to where I was at then, is not gonna get me to the next level, right?
Right.
And so I'm always trying to pursue something more and more and more. Who knows if we're gonna stay here? My dream's gonna get bigger.
Right.
And one thing about how, and I'm not blaming anything on how we grew up or where we grew up at, because them was all my choices, them was all my decisions, everything that I've done. We have fought and everything, right? It was that we didn't dream a lot. Our dream was stolen from us a long time ago when we picked up that bottle.
Yeah.
When we picked up when we had bad decisions. Every bad decision led to another dream snatcher,
Right.
And so when I started expanding my mental and dreaming, being taught to dream, it just, expanded everything. And I was super confident, and I lacked confidence. I got told no so many times since I've been out here. I never got told no out in Colorado, man. I was always referred to. I had plenty of jobs, plenty of everything. When I got out here, I had to prove myself. I wasn't the same person I was out there, right? So it bruised my ego a little bit, but it was happening for me though, because
Yeah.
now I pushed the resilience. It's part of my story where I had to get it, like
Yeah.
they say, out the mud, right? Start
Yeah.
new, like you did, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about, because it's when you don't know anybody and you got to create this person to get out of the comfort zone, get out of the shell. It's a little difficult at first, but I tell you
Right.
what, I wanted do it any other way. I don't regret anything I did. I'm coming up on a year now, and I feel like I'm really, you know, hitting that stride where it's like, oh, it's about to pop off now, just from an internal state and an internal stance. Like, oh yeah, my mindset is there. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to grow through things that I was not really wanting to, or not thinking I could go do it, right? So yeah, my ego got bruised a little bit, but it built my confidence. Hey, tell me no. Okay, tell me no. Tell me no. It made me prove myself. All it's gonna do is help me grow.
Right. No, that's real. That's real.
I just read something today. It was like adversity kind of reveals who you are.
True character.
Yeah, and I was like, dang, because I always want the easy route. I wanted to
No,
come out here, put some videos on Instagram, have everybody just come on in.
I
But
was on a 5 hour Zoom with these cats that just got out the Michigan Department of Corrections today, this morning.
yeah,
I ran a 5 hour Zoom, and what I had told them was that the light is found in the dark. So you find yourself in the darkest moments. That's when you learn things about yourself that you didn't know.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like when you go through the dark times, bro, you learn things. You learn your roadmap to resilience. That's your recipe. You know what I mean? You find the light. You
yeah,
find the light in the dark. You know what I'm saying? It takes a dark to truly find the light and understand it and respect it. Yeah. So the light is found in the dark. You know what I mean?
definitely
Yeah.
is, definitely, and I could appreciate that, and I could just see that in my own life. Like, oh yeah, sometimes we might hear about it, you might read about it, but when you go through it, them
You experience yourself?
words, them words jump out on the page after that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you got to go through experience. You can't be in your comfort zone. You can't be, like they said, you gotta shoot the shot to make the basket, right?
Experience is the best teacher, but her fees are very high. You're gonna have to pay a high wage for that learning experience,
Mhm.
but she's gonna teach you though. Experience.
We've been paying all of our life. Yeah,
For
man.
real.
So
For real, bro.
it's like one of those things you gotta find your hard over here or hard over there. Me, I'm gonna find the hard that's gonna make me grow.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
what I'm on, man. That's what I'm on right now. I'm actually going through another growth phase, man. But that's a whole nother conversation, man. We get there. We bring me back on. Bring me back on
yeah,
again, man.
once I get this thing going, we're gonna have a couple cameras and all kind of stuff. We're gonna be in person.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull up on you, man. But don't be surprised if I pop up in in Phoenix.
Oh
I told
yeah,
you I've
definitely.
almost come.
You
I've
don't
almost
be
come several
don't
times.
be surprised if I pop up in Dallas.
I'm talking about pop up out there in don't, and I'm living in Phoenix.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
I've almost every year I've been here. I've almost moved to Phoenix probably 3 times each year. I say, forget it. I'm done with Dallas. I'm on my way out. Yeah, I
Last
got
time,
family in Tucson, and yeah. So yeah.
last time I talked to you, I was driving back from Omaha, not Omaha, just Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the last time I actually talked to you.
That's probably about a year.
Yeah, and I was telling you, hey, and it was like November. I just saw the text messages like, oh, okay, that was back November 2021.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I'm moving to Arizona. And I remember you like, oh, I thought about that and this and that. And it was just it wasn't for sure, but it was an idea,
Right.
Like we had to take the steps to get there. And by the time March came around, we was out. And it was a lovely journey, like it's made my whole family grow, all of
Right.
us. So
I
it's like
love it.
it's been interesting, man. We got beautiful weather. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal in the summertime, but I survived my
Right.
first summer.
Right. The desert. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So I'm
but
gonna have to tap in with you, man. I'm gonna have to get out there and tap in with you, bro. Let me know.
definitely. But like I said, thanks again for coming on, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Anytime. Have
Always
me
appreciate
anytime.
our always appreciate our conversations, man. So yeah, man, have a good night. And man, we'll talk to you soon. And
You also.
all right, man, take it easy.
All right, peace.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Clearview Podcast. If you like this podcast, don't forget to share with one of your friends and subscribe to the podcast so you'll never miss an episode. And leave a rating and review. Your feedback helps me improve the show and reach more listeners just like you. And don't forget, put your past in the rear view and your future in the clear view. See you next time.